The pioneers of social networking sites, the news of the Internet interruption from the world by the month of October, has been carried out, especially since the NASA agency warned of a possible solar storm, and therefore this interruption may be due to the effect of solar wind on the planet, which causes problems and malfunctions that affect all wireless communication networks, in addition to satellites and electricity networks. I have seen that the same subjects, the same pictures and the same comments and responses are repeatedly repeated over the years, said Illuminati Bert. He pointed out that there are companies, behind the death of the Internet, operating along with the U.S. government to promote an advertising with the aim of forcing actual users to buy products, explaining, from his point of view, that at the end of the road there must be mysterious entities that control and move the strings that control the dolls. Starlink is a project for the American company Speus X through which it intends to launch 12,000 satellites that cover the globe to provide it with the high-speed internet for a material counterpart that has not yet been determined, and thus everywhere on the face of the Earth will be supported by the Internet service. The project will launch 12,000 satellites to be placed in 2 orbits. The first orbit will include 4425 Moon at an altitude of 1,200 kilometers, while the second orbit will include 7518 satellites at an altitude of 340 kilometers, with the aim of communication between the satellites and the 2 roundabouts and between the planet very quickly, according to what Illon Mask, the owner and founder of the company, announced. The problem is currently that the ground internet it does not cover vast areas of the land, and also the governments monopolize the internet at high prices, and also in the totalitarian and oppressive countries that govern the governments to harness the internet to monitor their opponents and determine their possibility and abuse them, unlike the space internet for Castle Link, which often may deprive the ruling regimes in those countries of many advantages in extending their control users for the service, but the space internet is limited, for the reason that the prices of reception dishes are very expensive and have only a specific category, and also covering specific places covered by satellite services. And this is what Elon Musk is currently playing by reducing the price to the minimum and raising the speeds in a way that may exceed the speed of the ground internet itself, and also governments will not have the tight grip for the internet users that Starlink will provide. But it is not yet known what are the technologies that are required for individuals to receive this service, and will it be free or will it be paid in exchange for any fees, and where will the limits and authorities of the countries will stand, especially repressive and comprehensive ones. And it sees this freedom to access information available to its citizens without supervision or accountability, contrary to what she used to do. The company plans to start the service in the northern United States and Canada in 2020, and it quickly expands to global coverage of the world that is qualified by 2021, but he does not know whether the coronavirus pandemic will affect the company's plans at the time it announced, or will it become according to what is planned, and about fears of the orbit of the Earth will be filled with waste after the end of the life of satellites, as the company responded to this through its official website, and said, Starlink is at the forefront of mitigating debris in orbit, as it meets or exceeds all organizational and industrial standards. Starlink is not the only internet provider that has industrial satellites in a low ground orbit. Amazon plans to place thousands of its industrial satellites, Kepler, in the low ground orbit, and OneWeb also plays satellites there. Said Mustacher says that satellite mode in a low Earth orbit can lead to problems. Industrial satellites can collide with other spaceships and cause shrapnel from debris, and this in turn may cause a lot of damage when flying at high speeds. Recently, there have been a number of errors that occurred in Starlink satellites, including incidents that we're about to make with the Chinese space station. If there are a lot of shrapnel resulting from collisions, it may make the low Earth orbit unused in the future, says Dr. Lucinda King, Director of Space Projects at the University of Portsmouth. We may not be able to get out of a low Earth orbits to higher orbits, where our satellites and telecommunications are located. Starlink satellites also create problems for astronomers. At sunrise and sunset, it is visible to the naked eye because the sun is reflected on its wings and shining. This can cause lines on the pictures of the telescope, which blocks the vision of stars and planets. Starlink says she is trying to reduce the brightness of her satellites in the sky by making its surfaces less shine.